Hello and welcome to what is currently Scotland's newest station. Also, welcome to episode 16 of Exploring the East Coast. This is the final episode covering the main part of the East Coast Mainline. Before we get to that, welcome to Flights and Times. So I'm starting this episode here at East Linton, which as I said is Scotland's newest station currently, before the Leathermouth rail link opens later this year. East Linton, 10 trains a day in each direction, split between TPE and ScotRail. The Trans-Pennine Express ones between Edinburgh and either Newcastle or Berwick-upon-Tweed return, and the ScotRail ones are between Edinburgh and Dunbar and return. So yeah, 10 services a day each way. It's not a regular service, they're kind of grouped together, so you get a couple of services every couple of hours, but they're not spread out. So yeah, this is East Linton. I'm going to go and explore what's nearby. So my first stop in East Linton has been placed behind me, the Mart. It's got an old barn that is an events venue, some independent shops, and it has got a large farm shop and little cafe. So I've had a nice bacon and sausage cob and a cup of coffee to make up for the weather. I'm going to explore a bit more of East Linton. Got about 45 minutes I think until my next train, which I don't want to miss because otherwise I might be stuck here for a while. So yeah, we'll see what we can see in 45 minutes. So East Linton is a pretty little village, town, I'm not entirely sure. There's not much to do here. There's a couple of cafes, co-op, pub, newsagents. It's this nice little garden area. It's got a memorial to one of East Lothian's former MPs, and also there is a memorial tree planted by the firefighters of East Linton to commemorate the firefighters that lost their lives in 9/11. Along from near East Linton, you've got the villages of Preston and Fantasy. Apologies to Scotland if I've butchered that. Preston, there is Preston Mill and Preston Kirk Church, both of which look pretty but a little bit too far to walk and get back in time for the train. And again, Fantasy, there is a heritage structure of some kind that I can't remember how to pronounce, but I will, before I get back to the station, have a look up at that and tell you when I get back to the station what it's called. But yeah, East Linton's a pretty little village. Yeah, nice to come and wander, but not much to do. So I'm back up at the station. I've got a more direct route from the town. There is a footpath for access from the southbound platform. Brings you out, you cut through a park, and that takes you down to the centre of the village. So that saved a good 5 minutes compared to the way I went off the northbound platform and around by the road access. So yeah, if you want to go into the town or walk to Preston or to Fantasy, that's the way to go. The thing in Fantasy that I couldn't remember the name of is the Fantasy Ducot, which is essentially a historical pigeon coop. It was great for the landowners because they bred the pigeons as a local delicacy. Unfortunately for the farmers, those pigeons ate about 100 kilos of grain each pigeon each year. So yeah, a bit of a controversial structure in the area, but that is still over in Fantasy, and I think you can do a circular walk even, from here in East Linton via the Ducot to Preston Mill, Preston Kirk Church, and then back into East Linton. I might come back and do that in the summer when it's not horrendous weather and when I'm not in quite so much of a rush. But yeah, back at the station. We'll be catching a train in a minute, weirdly to the last episode of Exploring the East Coast. If you watch that, it'll make sense. But yeah, so you will next see me in this episode in our final East Coast Mainline station for Exploring the East Coast. So I'll see you there. Welcome back. I think when I left you it was back in March at Reston, which was then Scotland's newest station. Today it's September and I'm on top of Salisbury Crags with Arthur's Seat behind me and the wonderful city of Edinburgh in front of me. For various reasons it's taken this long to film the second half of this video, but yeah, since then Reston's no longer Scotland's newest station. Those are the stations of Cameron Bridge and Leven on the Leven Waverley link, which opened back in June or July, I think. But yeah, this is Edinburgh, the final city, the final town, the final place on Exploring the East Coast. It was only right and fitting to finish the series up here in Edinburgh, a city that I love. So yeah, I'm going to be telling you a few bits and pieces you can do around Edinburgh for the second part of this, including climbing either Salisbury Crags or Arthur's Seat. So Salisbury Crags and Arthur's Seat are the remains of a now very extinct volcano that overlook the city of Edinburgh. I'm at the top of Salisbury Crags and I'm about 150 metres above sea level, which is about 110 metres above this part of the city. So you get great views. I'll show you a bit. You can see Murrayfield from here, Edinburgh Castle, the Forth Bridges, and out over the Forth. I could also see, you can't see it from where I'm sat now, but you can see the Scottish Parliament and Holyrood Castle, Holyrood Palace, sorry, where I started the walk. Arthur's Seat is at 254 metres above sea level, so it's another 100 metres from where I am now, but to get from where I am now and up there you've got to go down again, so I won't be doing that today. But yeah, it is an amazing place just to sit and watch and see the world pass by, so I'm going to do a bit more of that and then I'll show you a bit more of Edinburgh. So I've come down to Princes Street Gardens, which sit between the old town and the new town. Behind me is Edinburgh Castle, of course one of the very popular things to do when in the city of Edinburgh. I think this is the Rose Fountain, I'm not too sure. But yeah, Princes Street Gardens, a nice place to wander around. They're either side of a railway line between Haymarket and Waverley that runs through a couple of tunnels as well. You've got Princes Street in the new town up there, and you've got the old town, castle, etc. behind me. They run quite a way from St Cuthbert's Church through to Waverley Station, split into a couple of bits. So yeah, I'm going to have a wander around here and take you to a couple more places in Edinburgh that you might not be as aware of as the stunning castle. So I'll see you at the next spot. So the last bit of Edinburgh I wanted to show you is up here on Colton Hill, where you get fabulous views out over the city. This bit I've got great views over the old town, Waverley and the castle. Behind me is Nelson's Monument, tower you can climb, costs £6. It's open daily from 10 AM. There's also a little museum, and over on the other side of the hill you can get great views over the Firth of Forth and Port of Leith. You can also see Arthur's Seat and the Salisbury Crags that I climbed yesterday. But yeah, that's it for this bit of Edinburgh. Colton Hill, 103 metres above sea level, but a relatively easy climb, steps and footpath. So yeah, see you at the next bit. So behind me and these bushes is the western throat to Edinburgh Waverley. You might just be able to see a train there departing behind me. Edinburgh Waverley, northern terminus of the East Coast Mainline. You can get to it from everywhere essentially. There's direct trains along the east coast, west coast, down into Leeds, the Midlands, most of Scotland. Yeah, you can get to Edinburgh from pretty much everywhere. East Coast Mainline wise, there's 2 direct trains an hour to King's Cross. You've got plenty of services down to Newcastle, etc. But yeah, so if you want to come to Edinburgh, it's nice and easy to get here. So as mentioned previously, this is the last episode of Explore the East Coast, with Edinburgh Waverley the last station to tick off. However, this isn't the end. As you may know, not all trains on the East Coast run entirely on the East Coast Mainline. There's various diversions, extensions and loops that trains cover as part of regular service or diversions. So yeah, this isn't the end of Exploring the East Coast. I'm going to be starting a continuation series called East Coast Extremities, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to see when the first episode of that comes out. But until then, thank you for watching and goodbye.